Hey everyone, it's me again, Chicken Noodle, and this is my mom. After being forced to stay home for the last couple months because the world is on lockdown, my boys coaxed her into buying a copy of Guild Wars 2 so she could play with them. This is her first computer game, and she's doing as well as you'd expect for a 58-year-old non-gamer playing an MMORPG for the first time. I mean, she's been laying here dead with broken armor for the last 26 minutes waiting for someone to come revive her, but she's getting along. Guild Wars 2 doesn't hold the player's hand starting out, and it gives the players a lot of freedom from the start, which can be overwhelming to someone who hasn't been gaming their entire life. If only my mom had someone she knew that would make videos that she could watch while in quarantine. This video will offer guidance, advice, and tips to new players for exploring Tyria. We're only looking at the lower level experience in this video. Later, I'll be making some shorter follow-on videos to cover things like the trading post, inventory, crafting, dungeons, and some other general tips. If you know someone who can use this, please share it with them. Sub to the channel if you want more content for new, returning, and casual players, and you can also find me on Twitter or Facebook. I'm going to start doing some gem giveaways in the coming months, so you're going to want to get in on that, so make sure you follow me over there on social media. Now, I'm assuming you already have an account created. If you don't, I have a link in the description to create a free trial account, which gives you access to the full pre-expansion level 180 experience, and it will help my channel out. Create an account, install the game, log in, choose a server for your region, and then let's create a character. When starting Guild Wars 2, you should pick whatever race and profession appeal to you most. Your race will determine which zone you start in, some of the story content that you'll encounter, and some of your racial abilities. The racial abilities are largely inconsequential though. Read the racial biography at the bottom of the screen to help you choose a race. Each race is distinct with their lore and social orders, so it's going to be a unique experience for whichever one you pick. Each race has access to all 9 professions, and your profession will be your biggest decision when starting out since all professions play differently and have different mechanics. If you're new to the game and are looking for less complex mechanics, I'd recommend picking the Warrior, Ranger, or Necromancer. Their profession mechanics are straightforward. All 3 professions whack things up close or from a distance. Warriors have the most weapon types available to use with mostly melee combat, have a lot of health, can learn to drop banners to aid other players in combat, and press F1 when a bar fills up to deal massive damage. The Ranger can attack from very long distances using a longbow, has a decent amount of health, will eventually get to summon spirits and lay traps, and can capture and tame animals to fight alongside them. The Necromancer has an insane amount of survivability, with as much health as the Warrior, but additional tricks like being able to steal life from their enemies, summon several dead creatures to fight for them, and also steal life force from enemies, which is like another health bar when the Necromancer presses F1 to shift into Death Shroud. The other 6 professions have different, sometimes more complicated mechanics that require more skill to play effectively. Be it defensive or supportive play to offset lower health amounts, swapping weapon skills by activating other skills, or managing resources like clones and initiative to be effective. All professions will slowly unlock their skills, so new players will likely not be overwhelmed with the mechanics at first. Like I said though, some professions do ramp up in difficulty pretty quickly, around level 15 or so as you unlock more skills and profession mechanics. Ultimately, it's your call though. Read the profession descriptions and choose what you think you're going to have most fun playing. If you've never played an MMO before, entering Tyria, the world of Guild Wars 2, for the first time can be daunting. You're a single player in a large world, surrounded by other players who probably have more knowledge than you, and you're given little direction. If you've played other MMOs, you might be a little confused with how open-ended the starting experience is in this game. There are no quest hubs, and there's no long narrative missions that guide you from one location to another. You have to go into this game with a different mindset. One that you would have if you were on some type of expedition to a new land, or visiting a new city without an agenda, or just exploring the forest when you were a kid. Find something interesting in the distance and head toward it, or better yet, go get lost and see what you discover along the way. I know go get lost sounds like crazy advice, but there are so many things that happen off the beaten path that it's often advantageous to creep along the base of mountains, swim in lakes, walk around towns, and venture into caves. If you wander into an area where an enemy level, that is, the numbers next to the left of your target portrait, or next to their nameplate on the screen, is several levels higher than your level, which is the number in the lower left corner of your screen, then turn around and go somewhere else. Stick to the areas where your targets are plus or minus 2 or 3 levels of your own. And a few seconds for you absolute beginners. The basic controls of exploring the world include using your W, A, S, and D keys to move around, your spacebar to jump, pressing the V key to dodge while moving around, F to interact with NPCs and objects, and holding your right mouse button to look around as you explore. Also, your 1 through 0 buttons along the top of the keyboard perform attacks and skills. Holding left control will temporarily show the names of all attackable creatures on screen, as well as all objects that you can interact with, like quest items and gathering nodes, and holding left alt will show all the names of the playable and non-playable characters on the screen. If you don't want to hold Control or Alt, you can permanently enable or disable Show Enemy, NPC, Player, and Usable Object names in the Options menu. You're a good adventurer, even if you don't know it yet. And I know this because you have not one, but 2 maps. In the corner of your screen, you have a mini-map, and this shows you your more immediate surroundings. But if you press M, then you'll see your world map. The world map allows you to see more, but both maps function similarly. Some things you should know about using your maps. First, use your scroll wheel to zoom in and out. You can also use the plus and minus icons on the maps to do the same function. If you're zoomed out too far, then many of the icons we're about to discuss won't show up on your map. Zoom in if you want to see them. Number 2, you can pan your map by holding down your left mouse button and then dragging the map around. Number 3, you can communicate to party members with the map. By holding shift and then holding your right click button, you can draw on the map, and what you draw will be able to be seen by your other party members. Number 4, holding shift and left clicking will ping the map with various icons. If you're in a party with other players, this lets you quickly draw your party's attention to spots on the map. And 5, holding alt and left clicking will place a personal waypoint on the map, which is just an ever-present star. Use this if you want to set a destination that will always show along the edge of the minimap to you and your party. Number 6, some maps have multiple levels, and icons may appear faded because they're on a different level. On the world map, you can toggle which level you're looking at by using this thing down here in the corner. Since we're talking about levels, sometimes an icon will have a small up or down arrow on it. This is going to let you know if the objective is above or below you on a different level of the map. And number 7, your map will have a lot of icons. Mouse over any of the icons on the map if you need a refresher about what this icon is and what it does. And number 8, the eyeball in the lower left corner of the world map will let you show and hide various types of icons that'll show up on the maps. By default, everything will be checked. If you decide to play with these toggles, don't forget to recheck them. Number 9, when looking at the map, your character will appear as a white teardrop. The point of the teardrop indicates which direction your character is facing. When looking at the minimap, there will be a white cone that extends in front of your character, and this cone indicates which way your camera is facing. Your camera and your character can face different directions. And finally, number 10. You automatically leave a trail of white dots on the map, and this indicates where you've been. These can be useful if you ever need help finding your way out of a cave, or you forget where an NPC you just recently visited is stationed. There are important icons on the map that will help you with your exploration, and I'm going to put them on the screen. Many of the icons on the map act as objectives to visit, interact with, or complete, and 5 icons will have completed and incomplete versions of the icon. First, Points of Interest is a named location on the map, and to complete the objective, you just have to visit that point of interest. Points of interest are represented by these squares, and that's really all I have to say about that. Second, we have waypoints, and those are these diamond-shaped icons. You can fast travel to any waypoint that you've previously discovered on your character. Whenever you're dead or out of combat, you can simply click on a discovered waypoint icon on your minimap or world map to teleport to it for a small fee. Nearby undiscovered waypoints will show on the edge of your minimap. Go get them as soon as they appear at the edge of the minimap, so if you die, you can respawn nearby your current location. Thirdly, vistas will let you survey your surroundings with a camera flyby animation. They're represented by these little mountain icons. Sometimes they'll reveal places for you to explore. Fourth, renown hearts are like quests in other games. When you get near one, some objectives will appear on the right side of your screen, and completing these objectives will eventually complete the renown heart, awarding you coin and karma. Upon completion, the renown heart NPC will become a karma vendor that sells you items for karma. And then fifth, hero challenges give you hero points, which will be used to unlock skills and abilities. Sometimes you commune with the point by pressing F, and other times you're going to need to defeat some foe to get the point. If you want to know more information about skills and how to unlock skills and more about hero points, then watch this video up here in the corner. Now there's some more icons that you should be on the lookout for. Scouts, they're going to be found at these telescope icons, and these are NPCs that will temporarily reveal part of the map and explain what's happening in the area. The renowned hearts that the scout reveals will be permanently shown on your map, even if that area of the map hasn't been discovered yet. Then there's merchants. These are at the coin icons. They'll buy your stuff from you and then they'll sell you some useful items. Now armor smiths and weaponsmiths are found next to the sword and helmet icons. They'll buy your stuff from you and then they're going to sell you useless items. Don't waste your money with their armor and weapons. You're going to find better items as you explore the world, level, and unlock renowned heart and karma vendors. And lastly, we have this red shield icon, and this is where you repair your armor. Whenever you die, a random piece of your armor starts to take damage, and once all your armor's been damaged, some of it will start breaking. And whenever your armor breaks, it disappears from your character visually, and then you don't get those attributes, meaning you're going to be less effective. You'll know that your gear is broken or damaged by these icons down by your health globe. The red shields on the map represent either an NPC that will fix your armor for free after choosing the right dialogue option, or an anvil that lets you fix your own armor. Visit these whenever your stuff is broken. As I cover topics in future videos, I'll be discussing more icons. There's a lot of things that are going to appear on your map, but we'll cover them in the context of those other videos. This is just to get you started. Map completion is when you get 100% of the points of interest, vistas, waypoints, hero challenges, and complete every renowned heart on a given map. Map completion is a great goal for new players, since it, by its very nature, will help the player embrace the concept of exploring in this game. To help track your map completion, there is a list that shows how far along you are on the world map. Map completion will give you coin, experience, equipment, transmutation charges or Black Lion chest keys, and some crafting materials or map currencies. Map completion will also help you towards something called world completion, and this is going to be needed at endgame if you ever plan on making legendary weapons. If you can't find a hero point, vista, point of interest, waypoint, or renowned heart while doing map completion, first, open your map and see if there are any obvious unexplored areas that you should first visit. Unexplored areas of the zone will look like a painting with little detail. If the map looks explored, then mouse over the icons on the left-hand side of the screen. Doing so will cause all the incomplete tasks or unvisited locations for that icon type to sparkle. Now here's another cool use of this feature. You may not know this, but scouts are always shown on your map, regardless if you've explored the area or not. If you mouse over the renowned heart icon, incomplete renowned hearts will sparkle, but so will all scouts in undiscovered areas. Now the thing with the scouts is that they're almost always near some useful location, a waypoint, settlement, structure, or vendors. If you need direction, consult your map, find the scouts, and travel to them. The top right corner of your screen will have the content guide. The content guide will point you toward undiscovered or incomplete objectives around the map, and this is guidance for new players and assistance for map completion. You can tell what type of content the guide is pointing toward based on the icon in the compass. The way you read the compass is this: if the arrow is pointing up, your camera is pointing in the right direction, and if the arrow is pointing down, your camera is facing the wrong direction. Orient your camera and compass in the top position and head in that direction. The objective in the content guide will show prominently along the edge of your minimap. The content guide can be slightly modified in the options menu to show only a limited number of content types, so play around with that setting if you find this feature less useful because it's showing you too much stuff. Every character you create will have one waypoint in every starting zone unlocked. This gives you 3 benefits. 1, so you and your friends can play together without needing to pick the same race. And 2, so you can fast travel to the other zones if you need to change a scenery or if you wanted to complete other area starting maps. And 3, so you can quickly get access to the other racial cities since these waypoints are right next to those city portals. The Asoran starting map, Metrical Province, has the Soran Draw waypoint unlocked, and it's located in the far southwest corner of the map. The Solvari starting map, Caledon Forest, has the Astoria waypoint unlocked, and that's located to the far south of the map. The human starting zone, Queensdale, has the Shaymore waypoint unlocked in the northwestern area of the map. The Norn starting zone, Wayfarer Foothills, has the Horncall waypoint unlocked, and it's located in the grassy area that's surrounded by the snow and mountains in the southern area of that map. And the Char starting zone, Plains of Ashford, will have the Smokestead waypoint unlocked in the northwestern corner of the map. Now I have these things called chat links on the screen for each of these waypoints. If you type the chat link characters into your chat window, it'll paste that link and then you can go directly to the waypoints if you have trouble finding them on the map. I'm going to talk more about this in the next video. As you're running around Tyria, orange icons will appear on the minimap with orange words on the right side of the screen. These are dynamic events. They can be triggered by you walking by, speaking to an NPC, or some other thing, like maybe a timer going off. Head toward dynamic event indicators on the map and use the clues on the side of the screen to participate. Sometimes you'll be collecting items and turning them into an NPC, other times you might be protecting someone, you could be killing waves of enemies, defending a location, building or destroying things around a map like houses or towers, or killing larger enemies. As the name implies, dynamic events are somewhat dynamic. Events will scale up in difficulty when more people are participating, failure and success conditions will determine which events could happen next, and your participation level will determine your reward. Go help out with these whenever you see them. There are also things called meta events. These will have yellow text on the side of the screen, be much larger in scale, have more dynamic storytelling, and chain a greater number of dynamic events together, or have more dynamic events happening concurrently, requiring a greater level of cooperation between players on the map. Oftentimes, meta events culminate with larger epic boss battles. Completing events will award karma, coin, experience, and sometimes a bouncy chest with additional loot. Whenever you see a bouncy chest in the corner, click it to see your loot, or you can just right click it and send all that loot straight to your inventory. At level 10, your character is going to receive an in-game mail item, and that marks the start of your personal story. The personal story is broken into chapters, with each chapter having several missions to complete. The chapters unlock every 10 levels, but you're going to need to complete the previous chapters to continue. Now, if you wanted to embark on the personal story, pay attention to the green text that's on the right side of the screen, as this tells you what you're going to be doing, and go to the green star on your map because that's where the mission starts. If you need help finding the green star, click this icon on the minimap. To complete the entire story, your character is going to have to run through a total of 50 missions or so, give or take a few depending on the options that you pick at character creation or as the story progresses. The rewards for the missions are okay overall, and they're going to be worth getting, and the experience gained is going to be significant though. I recommend at least starting the personal story as a new player, and continue it if you enjoy it. Now that you know how to jump between starting zones, you can freely fight some of the starting zone world bosses. Be warned that you should be around level 13 to fight the world bosses in these zones. I'll be putting chat link codes on the screen again, except this time they're going to be to the waypoint nearest the world boss. The Fire Elemental is found in Metrica Province inside a Thuma Nova reactor building in the northwestern corner of the map. Use the Meridian waypoint to get there. The Great Jungle Worm is found in the Wickmire Swamp of Caledon Forest. Use the Phalius Thorpe waypoint and head north into the swamp. Shadow Behemoth can be found in the God's Lost Swamp in the southern area of Queensdale. Use the Finney waypoint and then head southeast into the swamp. And finally, we've got the Svanir Shaman Chief. This is a meta event that starts in Wayfarer Foothills at Krenak's Homestead waypoint and finishes across the frozen lake to the south. World bosses are on timers. If you want to see the event timers, type /wiki et into the chat box and the event timer page will open up. You'll be looking at the top row to see which world bosses are coming up. Get there early because the maps will fill up quick. Whenever you kill a creature or enemy, they may drop some loot, and you're going to know that there's loot there because the body will sparkle and you'll get an interact prompt whenever you approach the body. Get in the habit of pressing F after every kill. Now to make looting easier, press escape and go into the options menu. Then on the first tab, make sure these options are selected. AoE loot on interact, auto loot, auto pickup, and auto loot quick interact. Enabling these will let you loot without opening the loot window, and it's going to let you loot multiple nearby creatures at once. And because I just gave you a tip that's going to fill up your bags pretty quickly, I will be making a video pretty soon about basic inventory management for new players. Killing creatures awards experience, and killing creatures that have been alive for a while will award bonus experience. The longer something has been alive, the more experience you can get, up to 400% more experience if I remember correctly. For this reason, always kill the yellow, non-aggressive creatures that you see. Most players run right past the yellow deer, cows, lightning bugs, and other things because these creatures aren't trying to rip anyone's face off, so they live a long time. Big rewards for little effort here. As you explore the map and discover various points of interest, waypoints, and other locations, kill creatures, participate in events, complete your personal story or maps, you will earn experience and eventually level up. Leveling up is the process of your characters getting stronger and gaining access to new skills. When you level up in Guild Wars 2, you're going to see this icon in the corner. Clicking it will give you a level reward window, like this. Sometimes it'll say that your attributes increased, which I explain in this video up here in the corner if you ever want to check that out. And other times it'll ask you to choose some items. But one thing most people seem to skip over is the stuff in the middle. These are actually clickable buttons that will give you some tooltips on screen with more information. Now this is an easy thing to miss, and unfortunately this is how Arena introduces new concepts and mechanics to players as they level up. They'll briefly point out features and mechanics of the game, but only to players that know to click the buttons. You should read these whenever they appear on screen. When new players purchase the expansions, they'll get a level 80 boost that can be used on a character. Don't use this until you leveled the character to level 80 the normal way. I know you're going to be tempted to use it for endgame, or so you can unlock your mounts in Path of Fire, but don't do it yet. The game was designed to be played on foot without mounts or boosters. The level 1 to 80 leveling process is considered by many to be an extended tutorial, and that gives you an opportunity to learn your profession, understand how the world works, and slowly get exposure to new concepts and mechanics as you play. Level 80 content is significantly harder than lower level content, and you'll want to be prepared for it. Players who boost to level 80 cry, "Ugh, dumb game," and often stop playing because they cheated themselves out of the opportunity to learn. They get frustrated and they walk away. Use your boost on your second character if you want. At least that way, when you don't know how to play your character, you'll understand the world. As you're leveling a new character, or even on a new account, you will start to unlock some tutorial achievements. You're also going to find some enhanced armor that are going to be contained in boxes. Now I did a whole video that covers these achievements and armor options, and I'm going to post that in the corner. The video also gives instructions on how to find your achievements and use the achievement watch list, as well as how to customize your enhanced armor, because that's not a very straightforward process. Check that video out when you're done with this one, just so you don't miss out on these features. Log in every day, even if you can't play, just so you can get your daily login reward. The daily login reward is only available for full accounts, and it can be collected by clicking the chest in the corner by your map. Daily rewards will give you items over a 28-day period just for logging in. It takes less than a minute to collect, and over time this is going to add up to big money. The items you'll get are normally gem store items, luck to increase the magic find on your account, crafting materials, weapons and armor, and some more valuable endgame items used for earning or crafting high-end ascended and legendary weapons and armor. If you're playing every day on a free-to-play account, then you're missing out on all of that stuff. You may want to consider buying the expansions, since you'll get these daily rewards, plus a lot of other things at max level play, like new stories and maps, elite specializations, gliding, mounts, the mastery system, strike missions and raids, and a bunch more. If you decide to unlock your full account, then please consider using the sponsored referral link in the description below. Using the link to purchase the expansions doesn't cost you anything extra, but it really helps this channel out in a big way. So many thanks to you should you choose to use that link. I really do appreciate it. Anyways, hopefully this is all helpful as you get started with Guild Wars 2. I wanted to give my mom some guidance as she starts her journey into gaming, and I figured others could use the help too. I know some of you are coming from other games, and you're going to find that this game is very different, but now you have some tips on how to approach this game, what type of content you'll find in the starting zones, what in-game resources you have to help you progress through the maps, and some other bits of information I thought might be useful. There's more stuff in the pipeline. Like I mentioned earlier, I want to cover some more social aspects of the game, and then some other topics like inventory management, crafting, and other little guides to help new players on their way to level 80. Please, subscribe to this channel if you found this video useful, share it with your friends that are starting out with this game, and please leave a comment if you have some advice for other new players that are starting out with Guild Wars 2. And again, you can find me on Facebook or Twitter, as that's where I'm going to be holding my community giveaways. Anyways, hopefully this helps somebody out. Thanks for watching, everybody, especially you, Mom. Until next time.